Lacrosse Legends. Lacrosse Legends, a comprehensive look at America's greatest game, featuring legends past, present, and future.
Today on Lacrosse Legends, we speak with the prominent James Amon Jr.
Mr. James Amon Jr. His lacrosse journey started at Massapequa High School on Long Island. Graduated from Cortland State Teachers College, now known as SUNY Cortland. Manhasset Secondary School. It's a 6-year comprehensive public high school and middle school located in Manhasset, New York. In 1932, Manhasset established the first high school lacrosse team on Long Island, while Garden City followed shortly thereafter in 1934. A yearly lacrosse tradition known as the Woodstock Classic emerged between the schools. Currently, it's the nation's longest boys lacrosse rivalry. Lacrosse Legends caught up with Mr. Amon before Manhasset's home opener versus North Shore.
You know, I saw a couple of your Lacrosse Legend things.
Yeah.
You know? I listened to Tommy Gill. I didn't realize Tommy Gill was a lacrosse legend, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, look at that. Look at this. This is Manhasset.
What is this?
I mean, this is...
Wow.
Meet Coach Albert Brasati Sr. His son, Albert Brasati Jr. Brasati's great-granddaughter, Trish Brasati.
I was left with this when someone retired. And this looks like this is... Oh, you know what happened? Bobby Rule retired as a teacher. Bobby Rule is a lacrosse legend. He played at Manhasset, he played at Cornell. He was a 2-time All-American in ice hockey and lacrosse. He was a goaltender. His jersey's hanging up outside.
Your reputation precedes you. Vinny Sombrado says hello, by the way.
Who?
Vinny Sombrado.
Oh, Vinny, yes.
He says that
I coached Vinny.
Yes, he says you coached him at Hofstra University.
Yes.
He said at Hofstra, come from Chaminade, so he had like that grace thing where give the ball to the seniors. He goes, oh man,
Right.
Coach Amon let me have it. He said, shoot the ball, shoot. Yeah, okay. He's like, I heard about it. He's pretty serious. Yes, that man's a very serious man.
Yeah, he was a little shy as a freshman, but yeah, just somebody sent me a picture the other day. I'm standing there, and Vinny's to the left of me, and Kevin Huff is to the left of me too. So, well, I mean, I think it's an athletic community. It's a community that enjoys athletics, fosters athletics. We have good coaches. We have parents that push the kids to participate in sports, the arts, athletics, academics. They're all important. I think athletics plays a huge part in the school, and it transcends into whatever successes we have. We lose athletes to parochial schools like Chaminade and St. Anthony's. I think parents, for whatever reason, may want the Catholic type education. In a public school, you don't get that. Sometimes, I guess parents think that their children can get better exposure from a Catholic school in regards to sports. I'm not so sure that if I lived in Manhasset and I pay a lot of taxes, I would pay to send my child to a parochial school, but that's their decision. We've lost some great athletes. We play Chaminade, we go up against Chaminade, they have our kids. We go up against St. Anthony's, they have our kids. You know, it is what it is, you just have to deal with it, that's all.
I did the football officiating last time, and Coach Blake had said, "Oh, this team, we're not that good. Just give us a break." I don't know if you're familiar with football that great, but the reverse play that the Eagles ran in the Super Bowl, the handoff to the running back gives it to the wide receiver, right? He throws it to the end zone to the quarterback.
Yeah.
You guys ran that play.
Yeah, well-
Our officials were, this is an 8th grade team doing this. I've been around JV teams that can't even line up right.
Right. Well, Blake, that's a 7th grade team.
That's a 7th grade team, okay.
And Blake
Wow.
does a good job, and Coach Dovas was with Blake. Blake lives in the community, so I think he prides himself in the master tradition and does a good job along with Coach Dovas. And then we have 2 guys that coach the 8th grade team. They do a terrific job also. So having a good athletic program is you have to have as my dad, may he rest in peace, you have to have the horses, but you have to have the teacher. You have to have the coach. I think that's the example that our football coach, we brought him in 4 years ago. We won the county championship this year, Conference 3. We beat Plainedge 2 times. He preached, togetherness, camaraderie, one for all for one, no jealousy within. When you have coaches that can get the kids to buy in on that, it really helps. There's no selfishness, and I think that was a big reason for the success of our football team, aside from the fact that he's a terrific coach and we have a good coaching staff.
Well, that brings me to my next question. What is the key to, what do you look for in a coach? How do you find, with all these coaches out here, it seems Coach Cromwell, for example, he's got a legacy with being Rutgers University. It's like this legacy on top of legacy. How do you find these great coaches?
Well, we knew that Coach Cromwell was interested. He coached here once before under Coach Cherry, who did a terrific job here. And Keith is very busy with his own business. He works for the town. I guess he couldn't continue as coach. And then I reached out to him. He came back. What I look for in a coach is you have to look at knowledge. Do they have the knowledge? Can they teach the sport? Are they flexible? Can they take direction? Can they handle constructive criticism and mentoring? Keith was a terrific player. Matter of fact, when I was at Bethpage in 1996, we won the state championship Class B. The first loss we had was to Hicksville. We were 20-1, and Keith was on that team. The kids, they love Keith. He's an easygoing guy. He knows what he's talking about. He covers the bases as far as the instruction of lacrosse. He's a good person. He's a parent. He has 4 children. Again, I look for someone that knows what they're talking about. You need someone that is knowledgeable. You can't have someone coach a sport that is not knowledgeable. There's no excuse. You have to have that. You have to have that.
Next on Lacrosse Legends. You're watching Lacrosse Legends.
The equipment has gotten better. The sticks are much better than I used the wooden stick. The equipment is more modern. The kids are playing more. The kids are playing at a very early age. They're involved in club lacrosse throughout. In a lot of ways, the college coaches are not reaching out to the high school coach. They reach to the club coach. The club coach is the vehicle. I'm not so sure. I'm sure Coach Danowski, if he had a question, he would ask me. He would ask Coach Cromwell. Coach Junior would do the same thing. But I think it's coming from the club. The same way basketball is AAU basketball. So that's changed. I don't necessarily like it that way. I liked it where the coach came and watched your kid play. But now the technology has changed. So they're watching it on film, they're watching it on, whatever technology, Twitter, whatever, YouTube, whatever it is. And then of course the parents are spending unbelievable amount of money to showcase their children, get them involved in club sports, and push them towards getting a scholarship, which to me is not the most important thing, but it is what it is.
How do you see the future of this game for the next 20 years?
Well, I think it's limitless. It just keeps going and going and going. I think we're running out of schools for kids to play. There's only a certain number of colleges. The more kids you have, new colleges are not popping up all over the place. So there's only so many kids that are going to play at the next level. There's only so many schools they can go to. The competition to get into a school. My son went to UPenn. He played lacrosse there. My daughter went to Middlebury. She played basketball and lacrosse. Applications are up. The selection process is different. The academic index that you need to get in is way up there. It's harder and harder. And I don't know how many kids actually play in high school and then go on to pursue playing in college. There's very few. We have kids that leave here, but you hear that they're not playing because the academic rigors are too much, or they want to have time to do other things. But I think it's limited.
Next on Lacrosse Legends. You're watching Lacrosse Legends.
Keeps you motivated, Mr. A?
I said that this morning. I said the kids keep me motivated. I love kids. I love working with kids. I love trying to be relevant and trying to make them know that I care about them, whether they're the best player, the worst player, the in-between player. I love watching kids play. It's pure. I actually like watching the girls play more than the boys because I think it's more pure. When the girls lose a game, they cry, it's over with. When the boys lose a game, it's like, they're banging the lockers, 6 lockers, and their testosterone takes over. The girls, it's more pure. It's more pure. They're upset, but it doesn't carry into other things.
What is the future for Mr. Amen?
Well, I was looking forward to retirement. I'm not sure whether I'm ready for retirement because, when you go 100 miles an hour since 1965 and you don't stop, my wife has allowed me to pursue my career. I've spent more time with other people's children than my own children. I would like to think that the time I spent with my children was quality and not quantity. My wife understands. She knows about my passion and my duty to serve. So I don't know, I may wind up someplace else, I'm not sure. Some people have said, why don't you go back to coaching? I would never be a head coach, I would be an assistant coach. I don't want the head coaching responsibility. Show up, work with the kids. The head coach is a hard taskmaster. You can't have the assistant as a taskmaster. He has to be someone that buffers. So I think I could be that type of guy.
I noticed Jim Brown's name when I walked in.
Yes,
has your path ever crossed?
No, he was here before I got here. Mm-hmm. I have spoken to his wife on occasion for some different communications that we've done. He was perhaps the greatest, one of the greatest athletes that ever played here. Certainly, I remember when I was at Cortland, I played lacrosse at Cortland, and I remember John Mackey played against us. I remember hearing a story about Jim Brown coming from spring football practice to a lacrosse game, scoring 9 goals, and just leaving, So, you're talking about one of the most incredible athletes of all time, especially, in high school sports here and in college and professional sports.
So, I cannot thank you enough for this. You have no idea. This is where it started, sir.
Yeah.
I was there when I told my associates I'm going to be on that field. That's the Lambeau Field of high school. It's amazing.
I coached many games on the front field.
Mm-hmm.
Some incredible games.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is, we always wanted to do it, and it just happened to fall into our laps because, the clientele, the people that worked in the city would get off the train and just come to the game, walk up the hill, and the whole, at that time, non-COVID, years ago, they would just surround the field, and all very knowledgeable.
Ref, that was in the head. That's in the head. Sir, that's
All very knowledgeable because they all played, So when I first came here, one of the girls, Danielle Nicosia, her father Tommy Nicosia, I coached against him. So when you heard the names, it was just it brought back a lot of memories here. Yeah, I don't think I won too many games on this field.
Yes, so you got it. More power to you. Congratulations. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Here's the Sewanaka 1938 season. Sewanaka High School. Bill Rich was the coach. April 4th, Manhasset.
Bill Rich, yes. He's from Syracuse.
They played New York Military Academy, Manual Training, Poly Prep, Garden City, Boys High, Manhasset. I never had the time to really go through this stuff, but those are Manhasset Indians, right?
Oh my God.
Don't get me tell me where I don't know what year that is, but there's the Indian, the gloves, the wooden stick. It's here's Jim Brown. I think this is Jim Brown. It doesn't look like him, but it's somebody. This is Strani right here. Jay Strani. There's Strani doing something, teaching something. Following Manhasset High School boys received first, second, third honorable mention All-American. I have forgotten to do. So these are guys that Britain, Syracuse, Podlisky, Syracuse, Furtz, Dartmouth, Hess, John Stranahan, Hofstra, Ferguson. Jim Brown, Syracuse. So his Manhasset High School. I don't know what year this. Oh, this is a football school. Yeah, this is the front of the school, so that's where we're playing. These books, they are actually, like here's the varsity record 1950, right? These are like notes that the drills, plays, Howdy Meyer, Hopkins get ball out. So nowadays, I don't know if people do these kinds of things, but
The fact that they're preserved is what's amazing.
yeah. And Bobby gave me this stuff. Here's the one, 1938. Manhasset beat the alumni 10-7. They beat Sewanaka 13-4. They beat the Yale freshmen 9-5. West Point, please, 5-4. 14-6 over Garden City.
You were playing colleges? You were playing colleges also?
I guess in those days it didn't matter. They played Alexander Hamilton, Peekskill Military, Union College freshmen, Rasmussen. There weren't any rules and regulations.
Defeated North Shore 18-5. Later that week, it was on to Garden City for the annual Woodstick Classic. winning tradition continues at Manhasset. Manhasset outscored their opponents 276 to 89. As for Mr. James Amon Jr., we'll see him on the lacrosse field. On behalf of Seth Cannon and Bernard Williams, this is Monsanto Muzak for Lacrosse Legends.